Hi, I'm Lori Baumgart, the Marketing, Communication, and Continuing Education Specialist for the Nicolet Federated Library System, which is based in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm here to talk about digital accessibility in libraries. More specifically, I'm going to go over web accessibility perspectives, with the goal of providing a very basic level of understanding of what web accessibility means to people of a wide range of abilities. Libraries should be accessible to everyone, including people with disabilities, both physically and digitally. Not only is ensuring digital accessibility for all people the right thing to do, but it also helps libraries avoid lawsuits for violating the Americans with Disability Act, Section 508. Accessibility is an important aspect of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. And digital accessibility is about making sure digital technology such as websites, apps, and electronic documents is usable by people with disabilities. People with disabilities run into accessibility barriers that discourage them from using or don't even allow them to access content almost daily. For this reason, it's important to purposely avoid those barriers when planning and creating content. Disabilities can be either permanent or temporary, and it's easy to overlook the effect a disability can have on someone's everyday life. Suppose a person hasn't personally experienced or witnessed the difficulties that come with a disability. In that case, it can be hard for them to understand just how important accessibility is in some situations. Most of the information in this presentation comes from the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, Web Accessibility Initiative, WAI, which develops its work through a consensus-based process involving different stakeholders in web accessibility, such as industry, disability organizations, government, accessibility research organizations, and more. Because web accessibility is essential for people with disabilities and useful for all, the following videos show the impact of accessibility and the benefits for everyone in a variety of situations. Here is the first video, which covers video captions, which are a text form of audio information in video and animations.
Web accessibility perspectives. Video captions. Video isn't just about pictures, it's also about sound. Without the audio, you'd have to guess what this film is about. Frustrating, isn't it? Not knowing what's going on. That's the situation for everyone who can't hear. Captions make videos accessible, which is also handy for people who want to watch video in loud environments or where you need to be very, very quiet. Web accessibility, essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on video captions.
Remember that captions are a text form of audio information in video and animations. This includes the words that are spoken, who is speaking when it is not evident, and important sounds like music, laughter, and noises. Captions should be synchronized with the visual content to contextualize them. This video touches on colors and how materials should have sufficient contrast.
Web accessibility perspectives. Colors with good contrast. There's something about great design that allows it to go practically unnoticed. But it doesn't take much to make things confusing and frustrating. Choosing colors with poor contrast makes navigating, reading, and interacting a real pain. Good design means sufficient contrast between foreground and background colors. That's not just text and images, but links, icons, and buttons. If it's important enough to be seen, then it needs to be clear. And this is essential for people with low contrast sensitivity, which becomes more common as we age. With good colors, websites and applications can be easier to use in more situations, like in different lighting conditions. Web accessibility, essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on colors with good contrast.
Remember that colors should have sufficient contrast between the text color and the background color. This is technically called the luminance contrast ratio. This includes text on images, icons, and buttons. You'll want to make sure that the colors used to convey information on diagrams, maps, and other types of images are distinguishable. This next part deals with voice or speech recognition. You'll hear that the video uses the term voice recognition. However, the appropriate term is speech recognition. Speech recognition is about recognizing words for speech-to-text, STT, transcription, virtual assistants, and other speech user interfaces. Voice recognition, or speaker recognition, is technology that identifies who the speaker is, not the words they're saying. The World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, hopes to update the video to use the term speech recognition sometime in 2025.
Web accessibility perspectives. Voice recognition. Imagine if you could only communicate with your family by writing. Sometimes it's just easier to speak. One of the advances of technology is voice recognition, whether it's searching the web,
19th century architecture,
dictating emails,
Send email to Jack Hardy.
or controlling your navigation app. Many people with physical disabilities rely on voice recognition to use the computer.
Place order.
But for that to happen, websites and apps need to be properly coded.
Go. Cancel.
Voice recognition can help lots of other people with temporary limitations too, like an injured arm.
Place order.
It can also prevent injuries becoming worse, like RSI, repetitive stress injury, or for people simply preferring voice. Web accessibility.
Finish. Place order.
Essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on voice recognition.
Remember that most computers and mobile devices today have built-in speech recognition functionality. This can be used for dictating text in a form field, navigating to links, and activating links, buttons, and other controls. Some speech recognition tools allow complete control over computer interaction, allowing users to scroll the screen, copy and paste text, activate menus, and perform other functions. Many devices today have built-in text-to-speech software. This clip shows us why content needs to be put together properly.
Web accessibility perspectives. Text-to-speech.
Some people can see the text on the screen. Fortunately, computers can convert text to speech.
It's technology that many people who are blind have been relying on for years. But it's also important for many people with dyslexia, and very useful for people with difficulty reading text, as well as some people who just like to multitask. But for this to work, websites and apps have to be properly coded, which has the added benefit of helping search engines index websites' contents better. Web accessibility. Essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on text-to-speech.
Remember that many computers and mobile devices today have built-in text-to-speech software. Some people with disabilities, including people who are blind, use specialized software called screen readers. Screen readers provide important functionality such as navigating through headings, speaking image alternatives, and identifying links. They can also highlight the text that is being read aloud for people to see and hear the content at the same time. Content must be coded properly so that all of the functionality of the text-to-speech software works with the content. This next video demonstrates the struggles people go through when content isn't laid out clearly.
Web accessibility perspectives. Clear layout and design. Poor layout can be very frustrating. And the same applies to the web. Good design involves good layout, and that means a better user experience. This includes clear headings, navigation bars, and consistent styling. Any web user will get frustrated with bad layout and design. Complex layouts also make finding information difficult or impossible for people with visual disabilities. And they are confusing for people with cognitive and learning disabilities who need clarity and consistency of the presentation. Bad design also impacts anyone who isn't particularly confident around computers. Web accessibility. Essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on clear layout and design.
Remember that various parts of a web page must be easy to locate and identify, including navigation menus, links, and text sections. These parts should be at predictable locations and consistently identified. Also, form labels and instructions have to be clearly associated with their controls. Here we'll learn why it's important to provide good feedback to users.
Web accessibility perspectives. Notifications and feedback. All the right gears can be put in motion. The hands can be at the exact place they need to be. But if you don't get the response that you're expecting, you'll end up wondering if there's some sort of problem. It's the same on the web. Without clear notifications and feedback, people are quickly disoriented and confused. Especially error messages, which are often complex and confusing. Yet making them understandable is usually quite simple. Making websites and apps predictable and understandable makes them accessible to people with cognitive and learning disabilities. And more usable for everyone, especially for people with lower computer skills. Web accessibility. Essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on notifications and feedback.
Remember that users need to know what is going on and get appropriate feedback during interaction. For example, users need confirmation messages when actions are completed, such as when forms are submitted. And error messages must provide clear directions so they don't confuse users. Next, we'll learn why size matters when building content we want users to interact with.
Web accessibility perspectives. Large links, buttons and controls. Trying to hit a small target requires lots of effort. Many websites and applications try to thread the needle. But on the web, we can make areas for clicking and tapping larger and easier to use, which is handy on mobile devices, especially when we might be moving around at the time, which is critical for people with reduced dexterity. Web accessibility. Essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on large links, buttons and controls.
Remember that the area for clicking and tapping controls must be large enough for people to activate them. This includes links, buttons, checkboxes, and other controls. Small controls and controls that are placed too close to each other are difficult for many people to use, especially mobile devices with small screens. Here, we'll learn why it's important to allow for customizable text, especially for those with low vision or dyslexia.
Web accessibility perspectives. Customizable text. What's right for you doesn't necessarily work for the next person. Customization isn't always just a question of preference, though. Sometimes it's a necessity. Being able to adjust the text is crucial for people with low vision and dyslexia. Properly coded websites and applications allow the text to be customized. For example, to change its size, spacing, font, and colors without loss of functions or clarity. Web accessibility. Essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on customizable text.
Remember that some users need to be able to change the way text is displayed so that they can read it. This includes changing the size, spacing, font, color, and other text properties. When users change these properties, no information or functionality should be lost, and the text should reflow so users don't have to scroll horizontally to read sentences. Text customization is more than the zoom functionality, which only changes the text size. Here we'll see why content needs to be easy to follow for many types of users.
Web accessibility perspectives. Understandable content. Instead of saying, to postulate a conceit more irksome than being addressed in sesquipedalian syntax is adamantine, it is better to say, being spoken to in unnecessarily long and complicated language is a pain. Yet many websites lack structuring, using headings, lists, and separation. Or they use overly complex language, jargon, and unexplained acronyms. It makes them difficult and unappealing to use for many people, including non-native speakers, and makes them unusable for people with cognitive and learning disabilities. Web accessibility. Essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on understandable content.
Remember that content needs to be easy to follow and understand for many users. For most content, this means avoiding overly complex sentences and jargon, and providing a clear layout and design. For some complex content, like medical information, separate and easy-to-read information may be necessary. Here we'll see why it's important to format content so all parts are usable without a mouse.
Web accessibility perspectives. Keyboard compatibility. Not being able to use your computer because your mouse doesn't work is frustrating. Many people use only the keyboard to navigate websites, either through preference or circumstance. Whether it's temporarily limited mobility, a permanent physical disability, or simply a broken mouse, the result is the same. Websites and apps need to be operable by keyboard. Web accessibility. Essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on keyboard compatibility.
Remember that all functionality must be usable with the keyboard. That is, users can access and move between links, buttons, forms, and other controls using the Tab key and other keystrokes. Websites should not require a mouse. For example, pop-up calendars should also let users type in a date. Now I'll cover a couple of resources you may find useful when checking your digital pieces for accessibility. Some web accessibility requirements for websites, web apps such as Word, Google Docs, or PDF files, browsers such as Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, and more, and other tools such as online calculators are available at w3.org, and the links to these resources will be provided at the end of this presentation. There are many other sources of knowledge and tools that library and system staff can use to design, test, and develop digital content with accessibility in mind. Two examples are NV Access and Microsoft. NV Access is a not-for-profit organization that supports the development of the NVDA screen reader. NVDA is an open-source software, which means the code is accessible to anyone. They believe that every blind and vision-impaired person deserves the right to freely and easily access a computer. This video is a good introduction to the NVDA software. NVDA, the free software empowering blind people worldwide. It's about 3 minutes and 36 seconds long.
In order to use a computer as a blind person, you need software that will read the text on the computer screen. NV Access is an Australian-based charity which was primarily set up to support and develop the NVDA screen reading software. NVDA is currently translated into 50 languages and it's used in at least 150 countries.
The students here all use NVDA on the computers. What I like best when using a computer is that I can communicate better with the social community. I can make new friends on Facebook, for example.
We feel that it's essential that people can access technology and reap all the benefits that it has to offer, regardless of their financial situation or where they live.
Nowadays, all the screen readers cost like thousands of dollars. One of the biggest advantage of NVDA that is, it is the free and open source. Last year, we have around like 12 blind people using NVDA were employed at some telesales company. They use NVDA for their office work.
Worldwide, this has increased participation of blind people in everyday life.
People don't know what they're capable of until they're given opportunity. And if you don't have opportunity to be able to access the information, you're locked out of all kinds of things that you don't even know exist.
So I started Massage because I was initially looking for work after school and I found it really hard to find a job because of my eyesight. I first started using NVDA about probably 10 years ago, and now I use it at Envision Massage to do all the admin, communications, email my clients, send them the health forms that they have to fill out. I use it for a range of things every day, not just my work.
I think the future of visually impaired people will be better because at the moment a lot of companies have hired visually impaired people.
Later, when I grow up, I can work as a typist to earn money for my life.
I can't recommend NVDA highly enough. I have a student at the moment who's from the Solomon Islands, who's got a scholarship. He's studying law in Fiji now, and he will be the first lawyer with a vision impairment in the Solomon Islands. And he often attributes this to the assistance he's gotten through NVDA.
It's a great option for governments and organizations who want to hire blind people.
Huge numbers of blind people all over the planet will be using NVDA because that is going to be the screen reader of choice.
Because I think NVDA is as professional as any commercially available screen reading software, except it's free and open source.
With your help, we can continue to ensure NVDA remains compatible with the world's rapidly changing technology. Please consider sponsoring us or donating today. Visit www.nvaccess.org/donate.
If you would like to learn how to set up and use NVDA, here's a webinar from Missouri Assistive Technology, which is about 49 minutes long, which you can watch on YouTube. Microsoft Support has an Accessibility, Help, and Learning page that touches on accessibility tools for vision, hearing, neurodiversity, learning, mobility, and mental health. Microsoft Support also offers keyboard shortcuts for Windows and Microsoft 365, which enable users to navigate without using a mouse or touchscreen. Here's our last video, Microsoft 365, Making Documents Accessible, which is a 4-minute overview of the tools Microsoft has available on this topic.
When we create documents that are accessible to all, we ensure a more inclusive experience for everyone. This Word doc visually looks good and includes hyperlinks and images. I'm going to show you how people who are blind or have low vision will consume the doc. They use a screen reader, like the one built into Windows called Narrator. Listen to what it says.
Renewable energy sources. Defining renewable energy. Page 1, picture, blank. The proliferation of renewable energy sources, see link, here, will be key to not only becoming carbon neutral.
So this document looks fine, but it isn't accessible to all since the screen reader doesn't recognize the heading and the picture and hyperlinks are useless. Let me show you Microsoft Office's built-in tools so you can fix these issues and make your documents accessible to all. First, start with the Check Accessibility button. It's in the Review tab with the other tools you use to proof your docs. Select it and a panel opens with a list of items we can address. Alt Text provides context to screen readers, as well as makes images easier to search and find. You may find automatic descriptions already here. check and edit them to describe what is seen. If the images are not informative, like this RD separator, select Mark as decorative. For headings, we just don't want to bold and choose a bigger font. Screen readers will read it like a sentence. We use headings to organize the document. Select a heading style from the ribbon, and you'll get a formatted design. Plus, headings can help you make a table of contents. And the screen reader will announce it's a heading.
Heading 2: Defining renewable energy. 3 wind turbines on a wind farm at twilight.
You'll find the accessibility checker in other Office apps like Outlook and Excel. You can look for a specific issue too, like merge cells. You can fix tables which screen readers might repeat or skip if the cells are merged. Simply select Unmerge in the menu. Also in Excel, check out this chart. Look good to you? Well, anyone who is colorblind may have challenges understanding the chart. Just adding data titles next to each part of the pie chart allows the information to be more inclusive. Now we can all see pineapple has the biggest slice. In PowerPoint, use Accessibility Checker to see the reading order of slides. Select the arrow to see it drop down and fix the order so a screen reader will read it top to bottom, left to right. When you're in a Teams meeting and ready to present, use PowerPoint Live. It can help to make meetings inclusive for everyone, including captions and view slides in high contrast if needed. When you can solve for one person, the benefits extend to many. There's more you can do with accessibility in your documents, and you can start at support.microsoft.com/accessibility.
I hope the videos we watched together today provided some perspective into what digital accessibility is. Here's a complete list of the resources I shared throughout this presentation, which are also available digitally, so you can refer to them at any time. Thanks for taking the time to learn about digital and web accessibility today.